There's a moment that comes to everyone, usually when they least expect it. You're sitting at your desk on a random Tuesday afternoon, or you're stuck in traffic on the way home, or you're lying in bed staring at the ceiling at 2 in the morning, and suddenly it hits you like a freight train. Is this it? Is this what my life is going to be? The same routine, the same conversations, the same limited version of myself, day after day, year after year, until I die? That moment is terrifying because it forces you to confront a truth you've been avoiding. You've been living on autopilot. You've been going through the motions, checking boxes, meeting expectations, but you haven't been truly alive. You haven't been stretching yourself, challenging yourself, or becoming the person you're capable of being. And here's what makes this moment so crucial. How you respond to it will determine the entire trajectory of your life. Most people feel that discomfort and immediately look for ways to numb it. They scroll through social media, binge another series, buy something they don't need, or convince themselves that they're being unrealistic and should just be grateful for what they have. But a small percentage of people do something different. They lean into that discomfort. They recognize it for what it really is, not a crisis, but a calling. Your soul is trying to get your attention. It's telling you that you were designed for expansion, for growth, for more. And the very fact that you feel this way means you're ready. You're ready to stop settling. You're ready to stop playing small. You're ready to step into the fullest expression of who you were meant to be. Let me tell you about the most dangerous place you can ever find yourself. It's not rock bottom. It's not failure. It's not even struggle. The most dangerous place is comfortable mediocrity. It's that zone where things are good enough that you don't feel desperate to change, but not good enough that you feel fulfilled. You've got a job that pays the bills but doesn't ignite your passion. You've got relationships that are fine but not deeply connected. You've got a routine that works but doesn't excite you. And this comfort becomes a prison with invisible bars. You can't see them, but you feel them every time you think about doing something bold. Every time you consider making a change, there's this voice that says, but what if it doesn't work out? What if you lose what you have? Isn't it better to stick with what you know? And that voice sounds so reasonable, so mature, so responsible, but it's lying to you, because staying comfortable isn't safe. It's slowly suffocating your potential. Think about how you got here. When you were younger, you had dreams that felt limitless. You were going to change the world, create something meaningful, live an extraordinary life. But then life happened. You experienced rejection. You faced failure. People told you to be realistic. Society taught you that playing it safe was the smart choice. And gradually, almost imperceptibly, you started lowering your expectations. You started settling for less. You started building a life around avoiding pain rather than pursuing possibility. And now you're stuck in this comfortable prison where everything is fine, but nothing is exceptional. The tragedy isn't that you're suffering, it's that you're not fully living. Every choice has a cost, but some costs are invisible until it's too late. When you choose comfort over growth, when you choose safety over possibility, when you choose to play small instead of stepping into your full potential, you're paying a price that doesn't show up on any balance sheet. You're paying with your unrealized dreams. You're paying with the person you could have become. You're paying with the impact you could have made. Let me paint you a picture of what this actually looks like. It's the entrepreneur who never launches their business because they're afraid of failure. So they spend 40 years working for someone else, always wondering what if. It's the artist who keeps their work hidden because they're afraid of criticism, so the world never gets to experience their unique gift. It's the person who stays in a relationship that's slowly dying because they're afraid of being alone, so they never experience the deep love they're actually capable of. It's the parent who lives their life so small and scared that they pass those same limitations on to their children. This is what playing small costs you. It costs you your one precious life. Because here's the brutal truth that nobody wants to say out loud. You don't get to come back and do this again. You get one shot at this existence, one opportunity to see what you're really made of, one chance to build something meaningful, and every day you spend playing small is a day you can never get back. The saddest stories aren't about people who tried and failed. Those people at least have the dignity of knowing they went for it. The saddest stories are about people who had everything inside them but never let it out. Now let me tell you something that might shock you. You have no idea what you're actually capable of. None of us do. We live inside these self-imposed limitations that feel like facts but are really just beliefs. We tell ourselves stories about who we are and what we can do, and those stories become our reality. but they're not the truth. They're just the current limits of our imagination. Think about the 4-minute mile. For decades, everyone knew it was impossible for a human to run a mile in under 4 minutes. It was a physiological fact, proven by science, accepted by experts. Until Roger Bannister did it in 1954. And then, within 3 years, 16 other people did it too. The barrier wasn't physical, it was mental. The same principle applies to your life. You think you know your limits, but you're probably operating at about 20% of your actual capacity. You've never really pushed yourself to see what happens when you go all in. You've never sustained maximum effort over a long enough period to see what you're truly made of. And here's what's possible when you actually commit. You can learn skills you think are beyond you. You can build businesses from scratch. You can transform your health completely. You can develop relationships that are deeper than you've ever experienced. You can create work that matters. You can influence thousands or millions of people. You can become someone you currently can't even imagine being, not because you're special or chosen or lucky, but because that capacity exists in every human being who's willing to develop it. The only difference between people living extraordinary lives and people living ordinary lives isn't talent or circumstances, it's decision and discipline. That restless feeling you've been trying to ignore, that nagging sense that you're meant for more, that's not a problem to be solved, it's information to be followed. Your discontent is actually your internal GPS telling you that you're off course. Think about it. If you were living in complete alignment with your potential, if you were expressing your gifts fully, if you were making the impact you're capable of making, you wouldn't feel restless. You'd feel alive. The fact that you feel unfulfilled means there's a gap between who you are and who you're meant to become, and that gap is where all your growth lives. Most people misinterpret their discontent. They think it means something is wrong with them, so they try to medicate it with distractions. Or they think it means they need to change their external circumstances, so they jump from job to job or relationship to relationship. But the discontent isn't about your circumstances, it's about your level of expression. You're not expressing what's inside you, you're not using your gifts, you're not becoming who you're capable of being. Here's how to read your discontent correctly. What makes you angry? That's probably pointing to an injustice you're meant to fight. What makes you sad? That's probably pointing to a hurt you're meant to heal. What makes you come alive? That's probably pointing to the work you're meant to do. What keeps showing up in your thoughts and dreams no matter how many times you dismiss it? That's probably pointing to your calling. Stop running from your discontent and start following it. It's not trying to torture you. It's trying to guide you toward the fullest expression of your life. So you've recognized you were built for more. You've acknowledged you're living below your potential. You've identified what you're actually capable of. Now comes the most important question. How do you get from where you are to where you need to be? The answer isn't complicated, but it's not easy either. It requires 3 things: clarity, courage, and consistency. First, you need absolute clarity about what more actually means for you. Not what it means for your parents, not what it means for society, not what looks impressive on social media, what it means for you specifically. What would make you feel alive? What impact do you want to have? What version of yourself would you be proud to become? You need to get so clear on this that you can see it, feel it, almost taste it. Write it down, describe it in detail, make it so real in your mind that staying where you are becomes more painful than taking action. Second, you need courage, not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward despite fear. Every single person who's ever done anything meaningful was scared. The difference is they didn't let fear make the decision. They felt the fear and moved anyway. You need to understand that courage isn't a feeling you wait for, it's a decision you make. You decide you're going to take the first step even though you don't feel ready, even though you don't have all the answers, even though you might fail. And third, you need consistency. Every successful person has a longer failure resume than you do. The only difference is they didn't let failure define them. They let it refine them. You have responsibilities, so does everyone who's ever accomplished anything meaningful. Having responsibilities doesn't mean you can't pursue your potential. It means you need to be strategic about it. Start small. Work on your dream in the margins until it's ready to become your main thing. And what if it doesn't work out? Here's a better question. What if it does? What if you're actually capable of everything you've been dreaming about? What if the only thing standing between you and the life you want is your willingness to try? We've reached the moment of truth. You've heard everything I said. You've felt that recognition deep in your soul that yes, you are built for more than this. You've identified what's holding you back and what's possible for you. And now you're standing at a crossroads. One path leads back to comfort, to the familiar, to the light. Because now you know the truth. You know that the discomfort you've been feeling isn't something to suppress or ignore, it's something to follow. You know that the life you've been living, as comfortable as it might be, isn't the life you were designed for. You know that you have capacities inside you that you haven't even begun to tap into. And most importantly, you know that the gap between where you are and where you could be isn't about luck or talent or circumstances. It's about decision. Let me recap what we've discovered together because this matters too much to let it slip away. We talked about the comfort trap, about how the safe life you've built might actually be a prison keeping you from your potential. We explored the real cost of playing small, not just what you're missing out on, but who you're failing to become. We uncovered the truth about, and then here's what I want you to do after that. I want you to take another action tomorrow, and another one the day after that. Because transformation isn't built on one grand gesture. It's built on the accumulation of small, consistent choices over time. It's built on deciding every single day to be the person you're becoming rather than the person you've been. It's built on showing up when you don't feel like it, pushing forward when it gets hard, and refusing to let temporary discomfort steal your permanent potential. I want you to understand something crucial. You're going to face resistance. The moment you start moving toward your potential, everything in your life that's designed to keep you comfortable is going to push back. Your own mind will give you excuses. People around you might not understand. The path will be harder than you expected. You will doubt yourself. You will feel scared. You will want to quit. And that's when you need to remember why you started. That's when you need to remember this feeling you have right now. That's when you need to remember that you were built for more than this. Think about yourself 5 years from now. Who is that person? What have they accomplished? What have they become? How do they feel about their life? Now imagine two versions of that future self. In one version, you took action on what you learned today. You pushed through the fear and the doubt. You stayed consistent even when it was hard. You bet on yourself. And now, 5 years later, you're living a life that feels aligned with who you truly are. You're expressing your gifts. You're making an impact. You're becoming the person you were meant to be. You look back on this moment as the turning point, the day everything changed. In the other version, you let this moment pass. You went back to comfortable. You told yourself you'd do it later. And now 5 years later, you're still stuck in the same patterns, still feeling that it's time to stop living below your potential. It's time to step into the fullness of who you were created to be. You were built for more than this. Not because you're special or chosen or better than anyone else, but because every single human being was designed with infinite capacity for growth, for impact, for becoming. And that includes you. Before you go, I want to ask you to do something. If this message resonated with you, if something in you woke up during this conversation, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment below telling me what action you're committing to in the next 24 hours. Putting it in writing makes it real. And the community here will support you. And subscribe to this channel because we're going to continue this conversation. We're building a community of people who refuse to settle, who are committed to growth, who understand that they were built for more. Remember, your life is happening right now, not someday, not when conditions are perfect, not when you feel ready, right now. And every moment you spend living below your potential is a moment you can never get back. So stop waiting, stop hesitating. Stop letting your fear be louder than your purpose. You were built for more than this. Now go prove it. I'll see you in the next one.